So you did it. You accepted an offer on your home, and now you're officially in escrow. It's a huge moment for sure, but it can also feel a little murky. Like, what happens now? Well, don't worry, that's exactly what this explainer is for. We're going to give you a clear, simple roadmap to get you from this moment all the way to closing day. But first, seriously, take a second and just enjoy this. This is a massive milestone. You put in all the hard work to get your home ready, get it on the market, and you negotiated a great deal. Now, we just start a new phase of the journey. Okay, so let's get into it. You're probably sitting there thinking, great, but what happens now? What are the actual steps? What do I need to be doing? It can feel super complex from the outside, but once you break it down, you'll see it's actually a pretty logical process. The way I see it, the entire escrow process really just boils down to three main phases. First up is due diligence. That's when the buyer gets to learn everything they can about the property. Second, we have the commitment, and that's the real turning point. And finally, there's closing coordination, which is kind of like the final sprint to the finish line. We're going to walk through every single one. All right, let's start at the beginning. Phase 1, due diligence. This is all about the buyer. It's their chance to investigate, verify, and just get comfortable with everything about your home. This whole phase is really made up of three key events: the inspections, your disclosures, and the appraisal. So one of the very first things the buyer is going to do is schedule a home inspection. This usually happens pretty fast, like in the first 7 to 10 days. Your job here is to just be flexible with the scheduling and make sure the inspector can get to everything. Electrical panels, the attic, any crawl spaces. And here's a pro tip. It's so much better if you and your pets can be out of the house. It just gives the buyer and their agent the space to really talk things over with the inspector without feeling awkward. Now, let's talk about perspective for a second, because this is where a lot of sellers get really anxious. A home inspection is not a test your house has to pass. It's not a grade. I promise you, every single home, brand new or 100 years old, is going to have a report with a long list of items. The goal isn't for your house to be perfect. It's simply for the buyer to gather all the facts. Okay, next up in the due diligence phase are your seller disclosures. You're going to get some paperwork, and it's going to ask you to share everything you know about the property's history. We're talking about any past leaks, any repairs you've made, or other issues you know about. The number one rule here is simple: be thorough and be 100% honest. And here's exactly why that honesty is so important. Disclosing everything isn't just about being a good person. It's about protecting yourself. By putting all the cards on the table right now, you basically eliminate the risk of a buyer coming back later saying you tried to hide something. Transparency really is your best shield. And the final piece of the due diligence puzzle is the appraisal. If your buyer's getting a loan, their bank is going to order this. Why? Because they need to confirm the home is actually worth the price everyone agreed on. From here, the road really forks in two directions. If it appraises at or above your sale price, fantastic, we're smooth sailing. But if it comes in low, that means we're probably heading into another round of negotiations. Okay, so all of this fact-finding, the inspection, the disclosures, the appraisal, it all leads up to this moment. Phase 2, the commitment. This is what we've all been working towards. After the buyer has done all their homework, they have to take a step that completely changes the nature of the deal. To really get this phase, you have to understand the word contingency. Think of contingencies as the buyer's escape hatches. The contract gives them these little windows of time to get their inspections done, get their loan fully approved, and get the appraisal back. As long as those contingencies, those escape hatches, are still in place, they can back out and get their deposit money back. So this really is the million-dollar question, right? During that whole first phase, pretty much all the risk is on you, the seller, because that buyer can just walk away. But after they've done their homework, they have to make a choice. They have to, in writing, remove those escape hatches. And here it is. The moment that buyer signs the contingency removal form, they are locked in. Their deposit is now on the line if they don't close the deal. They're officially telling you, we are all in. We are buying this house no matter what. This, right here, is the single most important milestone in the entire escrow process. So once those contingencies are gone, we're not really managing risk anymore. We're just managing logistics. You can take a huge sigh of relief because the odds of your sale actually closing just shot up to about 95%. This is the moment you can start making real, solid plans for your move. Which brings us right to our final phase, closing coordination. The commitment is solid, so now the focus totally shifts to all the little, precise steps that have to happen to officially transfer ownership and, of course, get you paid. It's all about execution. The main player, the star of this phase, is the escrow company, and it's so important to understand who they are. They're not on your team, and they're not on the buyer's team. They are a totally neutral referee. Their only job is to follow the instructions that were written in the contract, holding all the money and documents until every single condition is met by both sides. I absolutely love this analogy because it just perfectly nails what that final week of escrow feels like. It's not one person just pushing a button. No way. You've got the lender, escrow, the title company, the county recorder, the buyer. They all have to do their specific jobs in the exact right order. One tiny delay somewhere can throw the whole timeline off. And here's what that final sequence looks like. It all kicks off when the buyer gets their final loan numbers, which starts a mandatory 3-day waiting period. After that, they sign their mountain of loan documents, they wire in their down payment, the lender sends their big chunk of money, and then, the final step, the county recorder makes it official. The second that new deed is recorded, your home is officially sold. Okay, so we've mapped out the whole process. But where do you fit into all of this? How can you make sure it all goes smoothly? Because you're not just a passenger on this ride, you're an active participant, and you have a real role to play in getting this deal across the finish line. So here's your game plan. First, anytime you get paperwork, sign it and get it back ASAP. Time is critical. Be as accommodating as you can be for inspectors and appraisers. Third, and I know I sound like a broken record, disclose, disclose, disclose. And maybe the most important piece of advice, please wait until you have that signed contingency removal form in your hands before you book the movers or make any big irreversible plans. Now, you might be looking at all these moving parts and thinking, wow, this is a lot to juggle. And you're right, it is. But please remember, you are not alone in this. Your real estate agent's whole job is to be the project manager here, to coordinate all these different people, to see problems coming before they happen, and to guide you every single step of the way. So there you have it. That's the whole journey, from in escrow to sold. It's a period of due diligence, a single moment of commitment, and then a final flurry of coordination. Yeah, it's got some complexities, but when you have a clear roadmap like this, it's a path you can absolutely navigate with confidence. So the only question left is, are you ready?